Hi everyone, welcome back to another lessons on machine learning hands-on. Okay, so in these lessons or in today lessons, we are going to learn or we are going to write a program to read a dataset using Pandas library. So Pandas has most common data format or dataset, that is CSV format. Okay, so in this video we are going to discuss how to read data from the CSV. There are others many functions available that Pandas enables, like reading the Excel sheet, reading the JSON file, reading some SQL data, reading some Parquet data. There is more like reading the pickles images like that. So there is too many things, right? But just .csv, or we can say comma separated file, that is most common used into day-to-day work of machine learning task, or even you are doing some data scientist, or or any other machine learning task, right? So we are going to write code. Okay, so let's just start the code. So the very first line of code of pandas is through we have to import library, right? Because which are going to, there are some library, because we have already mentioned how we are going to read the file, with how we are going to read data set with the help of pandas library. Okay, so first we have to import the pandas. So what is syntax? Import this keyword and then pandas in a small pandas. Okay, and then after we have to create some alias like pd. Okay, so pd is a short form of pandas. Okay, so it's, see, this is not required. Okay, else every time we have to call this longs, every time we have to type this long words, right? So that's why we are using is called pd. Okay, so instead of typing pandas, we are going to use insert pd. So this is called alias name. Okay, alias name, just like a unique name, not unique name, just like a nickname, right? So maybe you as a person, maybe you somebody calling you in your home but different name, maybe outside your home somebody is calling in different name. So there is, this is called nickname, or sometime in more professional term that is called alias. Okay, so first line we have to do like import the library. Okay, then run this code and check if this pandas is installed in our system or not. So if install, we will not get any error. If we are not installed, we are going to reinstall it. Okay, okay, so fine, there is no any error. Also, if you are using Jupyter notebook, so this type of things indicate that your code is executed successfully, right? So fine. So next line of after that should be file path. Okay, so let's suppose file path, maybe your system has some file, right? So I think I'm already available, or located at this file path. Okay, so I'm not going to write the complete path. So just because this is script file name, okay, and the file is the same location, right? So just I can call directly this file name. I do not have to write full name, right? So how we can do that? So just like inside single quote or double quote, Titanic dot csv. Okay, comma separated file. Okay, so also you can cross check, or maybe if you want to check what is your name. Okay, so check a spelling mistake, something like that. That this is good way. And just sometime I do so that by mistake uh, maybe I can write something different, or typing mistake, typo things should be there, right? So our this step should be loading the file, or loading the setting the data path. Okay, file path, you can say file path. Okay, so let's run this again. So these are creating normal variables, and then their variable we are going to assign this value, right? So this is also executed successfully. Okay, so in next line of code we have to create some variable. You can create variable a, b, c, d, any name, right? So but this is some naming convention, like your name should be whatever variables you are creating, it should be more meaningful, right? So suppose we are creating, because whenever reading data set, okay, so the very not very the way common and popular use is a data frame. Data frames means when we are going to read this file into some data frame, so that is going to very easier, right? So you can read this data as a common, right? Or like rows, column format, right? So but this is called, not this is called, there is one good method that is called data frame. So we are using df is short form of data frame. And now again we are going to call this functions, because this function pd, that is Panda library, and then after you have to call read csv. because we are going to read CSV. If your file format is different and if you want to uh, get expected output, what is your standard of the CSV file, then you have to mention CSV. If you are reading some Excel sheet, you have to mention Excel. Okay, so CSV, and then inside you can pass the file path. Okay, so file path, and after that this, and what are the return type of this function like read CSV? It is type of data frame. Okay, so data frame is a type of format that have more intuitive way. You can count very easily, you can count number of rows, number of count, or more nice formatted of displaying the information. So this, or this will return a type of data frame, and type of data frame we are going to store at some variable called df. Okay, so there is no any concern about data type because Python by default uh, converted this type of what was the return of this one, this variable you converted to that data type. Okay, so let's run this again. Okay, so again it's executed successfully. Okay, so now if you have to display the information, okay, so how we can do that? So df dot, because see data frame has already many features, some functions that is already inbuilt, so that is very easier to read everything. Because if we are not calling the data frame, okay, if you are, see in Python normally we can read this type of file. Okay, we do not need to read in the using the CSV format. Okay, I will show you that as part as well. Okay, but if you are using with the help of this read CSV, so there is too many inbuilt methods, flexibility features are available. Okay, so that's why we are not going to use our inbuilt normal manual writing code for reading file like that. Okay, so let's run this one, and what will do this one? So head method is enabled to see the some of the data, sample data, top data. Head means top. By default it will return top 5 rows data. Okay, so you can see how your data look like. Okay, again if you want to increase number of rows, if you want to see, so you can pass it here. Okay, so how many row you want to see the data, so it means it's giving a one glance like how your data look like. Okay, so based on that you can get the idea what is type of your what data look like that. Okay, so you can see 1 2 3, so these are columns, and these are all column, and these are rows. Okay, by default you can see 0 1 2 3 4 numbering is already there. Okay, and these are available, so you can increase the number any number of time you want to see the data. Okay, so this was the thing. I think you might have, you have to make sure you have to remember this one, read underscore CSV. Okay, so this was name PD. First you have to call this one, this file name, or maybe you can directly pass the file name here. Okay, but this is a standard one. After loading the file, okay, to data frame, okay, now we have to displaying the informations of the data, how your data look like. Okay, so again the same thing, I was explaining, can we read the file with the help of, without any pandas? Obviously you can read. Okay, so how we can do that, let me show you. So I'm going to call file. Okay, so open. Okay, and then here I can call the file path. Okay, there is no need of pandas. Okay, so this is Python inbuilt method. Okay, and now after that you can call read. Okay, so instead of read CSV, here is function is called read. Okay, and then after you can print, and you can store to some file, any object called file content. Okay, and then copy this one. Okay, so you can see this is your data, right? But this you don't have to any format. Like suppose I want to perform some more operation like head. Okay, so there is no any function available in that head. Also if I want to get the information, more about the information, like how many rows, how many columns, what are the type of column, or what are the data type of each columns, like that. Okay, so if I are using this pandas to read file, then it's a very easier, or there is very convenient, because too many inbuilt features are available in that data frame. Okay, inside pandas. Okay, so that's why we are using pandas. Else if you are doing manually, suppose I want to read 5 line of code. Okay, so there is no any method to read 5 line of code with the help of this one, but again you can get the data, you can see the data, right? Again, if you are using this df, okay, so maybe you can call, let's suppose I'm adding one more cell, so df dot info, like that. Okay, so you can see all the what are the different columns and what are the data with all these columns, right? So all these are available, but in case of normal file operations, with the help of without any library, you fill lots of things. Every time you have to write manual code for using reading some file, getting some data, replacing some things. So that was the very tedious task while doing manual. Okay, so that's why we are using pandas library. Okay, so doing that. Okay, so only the panda is not limited to read csv file. There is too many others type of files you can read. Okay, so let me show you that. I have already written some of the things, so you will get the idea. Okay, I'm just directly copy pasting here. Okay, so just to mentions, like maybe if you want to cover everything, okay, so you can comment down below. I will try to cover more and more, but this was some common thing, right? These are common format we are going to read. So let's run this one. So you can see these are already some methods available. So panda.read csv, you can see the syntax is same. pd.read excels, okay, read jsons, okay, read html, read sql file, parquet, okay, so request a parquet file into data frame, okay, read a feathers binaries, okay, feathers binary data frame, read pickles, you can see read clipboard means already things we are copied. Okay, so suppose we are copy something, so whenever using copy paste, okay, so by default system use clipboard. Okay, so suppose there is something, somebody is copied, so if you want to write it here, right, so pd dot read clip, okay, so you can directly print it. Okay, so I can show you like this one. Yeah, I can explain all the thing, but I think that is our video will go into other direction. It's not confined to only this reading the csv file from pandas, right? So that's all. So okay, so let me show this one. Okay, so pd dot, if I want to show, I think if there is something if you have copied something, then you can print something. Okay, so copied data, copied data, whatever is stored in copied. Okay, so we do not have to pass anything because this is system level. Okay, just they're using command control c control v. Okay, so that's why you can directly get the data from so let me show you. Okay, so this one is now print this. Okay, if I have to type this one, else it will be copied, our data will be copied data, right? Whatever you will copy, right? This one copied data. Okay, so let's run this one. Okay, I think there is nothing inside here, so let me going to copy. You can see what is meaning. Read data from clipboard into data frame, that is useful to copying data. Okay, so is there to head or something? It's a type of data frame, right? So let me again. Okay, there is nothing inside clipboard. Okay, so I'm going to copy it again. I'm going to copy. I've already copied something, right? So I'm going to run it again here. Okay, so I think there is no any issue. Just the issue is the data should be in proper format. Okay, so I'm going to read some data. Okay, see I'm already copied some data. Okay, so I'm going to run it again. So in previous case this was the data. Okay, so this was the data I've already copied, right? But now this was not the format, it should be converted to data frame. Okay, so now I've copied the data that is in form of, or maybe let's paste it here. I think we will get the more idea. Okay, so this already data is copied, right? Now I'm going to copy this data, control C. Now I'm going to run this one. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to print it. Okay, so you can see all this data. Fine. So maybe if here in some application you are copied something, okay, so I don't think you have to paste here. Okay, so this is how easy it is, right? So because you might be copy something, store to some variables, some to file, then again a copy it, or again uploading the files. Okay, so there is too many intermediate actions, right, activity to doing that. Okay, so that's all everyone for this video. So stay tuned for watching more such interesting video. Let's meet in another one. Till then, keep learning and keep growing. And if this type of video is helpful, please also do like and subscribe so that I can create more and more such video. Okay, so thank you for watching.